Welcome back to some new r/malicious compliance stories, where people comply to the letter, but not the spirit of a request. I hope you had a great day. Thanks for all the likes and comments on the last video. And now let's start with the first story. It's called Streamlining. I used to work at a medical facility, handling the midnight shift staffing for the 6:30 AM crew. The job was a balancing act, making sure there were enough hands on deck to cover patient care, especially in a high-need area. We always overstaffed a little, just in case, and sent extra people home if we didn't need them. Worked like a charm. Then the facility was bought out. Enter new management, all about efficiency and streamlining. Suddenly we had to staff exactly to need, no more buffer. Worse, they implemented a strict policy. No one could be approved to work unless all documentation was submitted before their shift was approved. Staffing had to be 100% finalized by 5 AM. Anyone not cancelled by 5 AM automatically owed 2 to 4 hours pay per contract. Now, I wasn't against tighter documentation in principle. Makes sense. But here's the thing. No one is awake at 3 AM sending over documents for a 6:30 AM shift. People sleep, especially when they are expecting to wake up in 2 to 3 hours for work. I warned my manager, this is going to blow up. I promise you, just follow the new policy, okay? So that night I did exactly what was required. From midnight to 5 AM I called everyone who was scheduled to work but hadn't sent in paperwork. Most didn't answer, they were asleep. Some answered and cussed me out for waking them up. Not one person submitted their paperwork before 5 AM, so I cancelled every single one of them. The morning was absolute chaos. 20 plus staff short. Medical floors grossly understaffed. Patients were not being cared for properly. Managers freaking out. Phones ringing off the hook. They pulled an emergency meeting with the CEO, department heads, floor managers, the works. It was meltdown mode. And guess who they tried to pin it on? Me. I walked into the meeting, calm as a cucumber, printed email chain in hand. You said I couldn't approve anyone without paperwork submitted before 5 AM. No one submitted paperwork, so I followed protocol and cancelled everyone, per your instructions. Every time they tried to ask, do you understand how dangerous that was? I replied, so you want me to ignore the official policy? I can do that, but I'll need that in writing. Silence. Meeting ended. I went home. The next day I'm called in again. New policy. Pre-approvals are now okay. Staff can bring paperwork when they arrive. Oh, you don't say. This change made it someone else's problem to deal with in the morning. I was off shift by then, so I shrugged and moved on. The next story is called Yellow Balloons. Back in the early to mid 2000s, I landed my first real job. Inside sales for a big corporate dinosaur. We are talking rows of beige cubicles, motivational posters curling at the edges, and middle management straight out of a bad sitcom. The job itself was fine, and my fellow sales folks were great, but the managers? Oh boy. Picture a group of out-of-touch MBAs, who probably thought Office Space was an instructional video. One week, in a misguided attempt to motivate us, management unveiled their latest brainchild. Every salesperson would get 3 yellow balloons tied to their desk at the start of the week. Every time you made a sale, a manager would come over and pop one of your balloons. By Friday, anyone still floating 3 yellows? Clearly a failure. Yes, they basically created a scarlet letter system with helium. Naturally, it crushed morale. Some people didn't close any deals that week and were left sitting under a full bouquet of shame, while others were loudly praised as the managers marched over to ceremonially pop a balloon. So, Monday rolls around. Balloons are back. But this time, so was I, with reinforcements. I pulled out a stash of yellow balloons I had bought over the weekend. A lot of them. By mid-morning, my cubicle looked like a minion exploded. Balloons taped to the walls. Balloons bobbing out of drawers. Balloons hanging from the ceiling tiles. I told the first manager who walked by, I just really loved the whole balloon idea. Thought I'd bring my own to celebrate the positive vibes. With the biggest corporate smile I could muster. Colleagues caught on. I started handing out balloons like a weird balloon Santa. Soon the whole row was glowing yellow. You couldn't tell who had made sales anymore. Everyone just looked festive. Cue the manager panic huddle. They huddled near the copier, occasionally glancing at me like I was inflating a pipe bomb. I even heard one of them whisper, "What do we do about her? Personal balloons." Eventually, one of the braver managers stomped over to my desk and popped down a few of my non-corporate balloons. Big mistake. I immediately filed a complaint with HR for destruction of personal property. And because this was Megacorp, where HR took everything as seriously as a cardiac arrest in a boardroom, they launched an investigation. By the end of the week, HR had a friendly chat with the managers. The balloon incentive system was quietly killed. No more public humiliation disguised as gamification. And I kept a few yellow balloons taped to my monitor for the next few weeks. Just for decoration, of course. The third story is called Shut It Down. Years ago I worked at one of those restaurant/movie theater combos. You know, the kind that stays open way too late and runs entirely on popcorn, soda syrup and underpaid labor. I was a dishwasher, the noble, overworked backbone of the kitchen. Most nights when I closed, I had to wait on the buzzer to bring in the last of the dishes from the theaters before I could shut down the dish pit. This often meant standing around, half cleaned, while some guy ran around pretending he was in Saving Private Ryan, collecting nacho trays and soda cups like it was life or death. This one buzzer in particular, buddy with management, real teacher's pet energy, treated the dish crew like we were actual dirt under his crocs. Normally, people would at least say, "That should be the last of it," to give me the illusion of control. And I'd always double check, asking, "Are you sure? Or should I wait a bit?" Because 9 times out of 10, more dishes would come straggling in. But on this particular night, my guy wasn't feeling patient. As I started to ask, he cuts me off, full diva mode, and says, "Shut it down. Now." Then turns and struts out of the kitchen, like he just mic dropped a Shakespeare monologue. Welp, you got it, boss. I shut it down. I drained the machine. I cleaned the filters. I scrubbed the pit. I was clocking out with the manager, feeling very pleased with myself. As I'm chatting with the manager during checkout, who should walk in but our friend, looking like he'd just been told the theater seats were made out of bees. He's carrying 2 full bathtubs of crusty dishes, staring at the now empty, sparkling dish station. Couldn't even look me in the eye. No words, no grumbling, just resigned dish shame. He never spoke to me again for the rest of my time there. Not a hey, not a nod, not even accidental eye contact. Best coworker experience I ever had. The last story is called Extra Work. I used to work at a big company. You know, the kind where titles are vague, expectations are infinite, and appreciation is non-existent. My role was officially developer. In reality, I was doing the work of tech lead, project manager, and a healthy chunk of team leader. Naturally, I asked for a raise, or at least a reduction in workload. Their response? Classic. My manager, with the emotional intelligence of a toaster, goes, "Yes, you do spectacular work, but we don't ask you to do all of that, so I don't know why you should get paid more than others." So the fact that everything is running like a Swiss watch because I go above and beyond means nothing. So I stopped. For the next 3 months I did exactly what my actual job description said. No more extra project wrangling, no more client hand-holding, no more cleaning up other people's messes, or preemptively solving issues I wasn't asked to handle. Bit by bit, everything not under my direct control imploded. Deadlines missed, clients confused, projects flailing. When clients asked me about things I used to coordinate, my answer was always polite, always the same. "Oh, I'm not in charge of that anymore. You'll have to contact X or speak with management." Eventually, I'm summoned. "Why is everything falling apart? You need to do something." I smiled. Finally. It's not my job. For years no one asked how everything was going so smoothly. I stopped doing what wasn't in my contract. Now you are noticing. That's why it all is falling apart. Because it was me all along. He just blinked at me. The confusion, the dawning horror, the realization. Shockingly, things changed after that. I got that raise. Still didn't go back to doing everything. But now, at least, I was compensated appropriately when I did help. Thanks for watching the video to the end. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe. And if you have time, watch another one of my videos. Also, if you want to support me further, check out the channel membership or Patreon. And now, I hope you have a great day. See you soon. Bye bye.